So this exercise is related to topic the circular motion, as we have discussed about the angular velocity, angular speed, angular acceleration, the resultant force. That whenever object move in a circular path, there will always be a resultant force acting on the object. So we'll do a question from this. The question 25. It is. Question 25. There are four forces acting on an airplane in flight as shown as this is a side view. You can see the weight which is acting downward, the thrust of the engine which is acting towards the right or the forward direction. The lift is there which is acting upward, and a drag is there acting to oppose the motion. The lift force is perpendicular to the wing, as you can see. To change the direction, airplane banks so that the one wing is lower than the other wing. As we have just discussed that uh, the lift force is then no longer vertical. As you can see, it's not no longer vertical. It will have the component. The airplane flies in a horizontal circular path at a speed of 52 meters per second. So it is moving at a speed of 52, and it's a horizontal circle. So means the weight balances with a component of the lift. The diagram below shows the airplane banking at an angle of 20 to the horizontal. Then we have to show that the radius of a circular path is about 800 meters. So we have to calculate the radius of this circular path. So whenever object move in a circular path, there is always a resultant force acting which is toward the center. So first thing what we have to do, we have to resolve this force into the components. So this is L. If I take the axis here, so this will be 20 degrees as well. And what are the forces which are acting? And the weight is acting downward. And this angle theta is same as here angle, 20 degrees. So the component like weight is acting downward. So what will the component? This is with an angle. So that is equals to L cosine 20. And this will be the component which is opposite to the angle. That is equals to L sine 20. So L sine 20, like the two equation we have, that weight balances with L cosine 20. And the centripetal force is equals to what? That is equals to L sine 20. So we have the mass, we have the speed, and we know that. So we'll use this part, that the centripetal force is equals to L sine 20. And the mass of the airplane is given. So using the mass, first we can find the lift here. Like the first equation, W is equals to L cosine 20. So W is equals to mg. So mg divided by cosine 20 is equals to L. So this will give us the value for the lift. So mass is 1200, the gravity is 9.8, and divided by cosine 20. So we got 12,527 Newton. That is the value for L. Now we got the value for L, so we can use it here. The centripetal force is what? The centripetal force is m v square over r is equals to L sine 20. If I need r, so it will be equals to mv square over L sine 20 will be equals to r. Just substituting the values, the mass is 1200 multiplied by speed, it was 54 square divided by L, which we calculated 12,527 multiplied by sine 20. So this will give us the radius. When we simplify, it is coming out around 816 meter. So which is approximately equals to 800 meter. Is it clear? Part A. Any doubt? Any question or doubt in this? Okay. Then moving on to the next part of the question. Determine the time taken by a plane to move 90 degree of the circular path. So 90 degree of a circular path means it's a quarter of the time period, because like if one revolution, it will be 360. Like if it is here, when it is at this point, so this change in angle is 90. So means we need a time to move quarter of the circle or a quarter of the circular path. And we have like multiple for like we can use the formula speed is distance divided by time. So distance will be 2 pi r because circumference divided by time. So first we can do a find a time period. So it will be 2 multiplied by 3.14 multiplied by radius, which we calculate 816 divided by speed 54. So this will give us the time it will take, but we don't need the total time. What we need the quarter of this. So means the final answer. If I need t, so means my final answer should be divided by 4. So when we divide, the time it took will be 23.8 seconds. Is it clear? This one? Then we have the wings of the airplane are now leveled so that the speed and the magnitude of the lift remain same. Except what will happen to the vertical motion of an airplane? So now what happened? The wing and the airplane are now the speed. Look, in the previous example, there was a lift and lift was having a components, and one of the component of the lift was balancing with the weight which was acting downward. But now what happened? If it become horizontal again, so lift was, there is a component of the lift which was balancing, but lift was always greater, because if the component was balancing, like let's say the weight was let's say 12,000 kilogram example, or sorry 12,000 Newton, because it's a weight. So 12,000 Newton was the weight. So lift was not 12,000, lift was more than 12,000, maybe 15,000 Newton. And the component of the lift was balancing with the weight. So it was in a horizontal same position. But now it is exactly horizontal. So when it is exactly horizontal, so lift is now the same value. The values does not change. So the lift value won't change. So as a result, there will be a like greater lift than the weight. So what will happen? This airplane will accelerate upward or move upward. Because the lift is more than the weight, that's why there will be a vertical acceleration or there will be a resultant force upward, so the airplane will accelerate upwards. Is it clear?